magazine.
Well, Merry Christmas. Flip it over.
That big box is always as well. What big box? Is it a gun? I got a feeling it's a gun now.
Good thing you have your box cutter, right?
Yeah, today of all days. Yeah, don't cut anything.
So, Lancer Tactical hooked it up.
Hooked it up.
So you got 5 magazines, I think?
I'm a firm believer that if given enough criticism and advice, anyone can improve themselves. And as for Lancer Tactical, this is quite abundant. Recently, Lancer Tactical got a hold of me and asked if I'd like to review one of their newest additions to their catalog. And here it is, the LT-201 Warlord Carbine. The budget gun with a lot of good stuff going for it that can be had for about $200. I love Lancer Tactical for the fact that they have the courage to take a lot of bad rep from a lot of people out there, but still look forward to reviews from anyone so they can keep improving themselves. And hopefully I can add to this. Now this package arrived on Christmas Eve, so it made for a great gift for my friend Andrew, who has been really getting into the game lately. Now he can stop using my stuff. He's been using it and I've been using it. But if you'd like to get one of these for yourself, then be sure to check out the links left in the description down below to where you can pick up one of these or any of its variants on Airsoft GI's web store. And I'll be adding links to both Gun Gamer's review and Alec Mack's review, just in case you'd like to get a bit more information about the Warlord series. But without further banter, let's check out this Lancer Tactical, where we always do with the unboxing. Of course, this starts off with a very flashy Lancer Tactical cardboard box, but first out of the box, after opening the lid, is the manual. This manual is actually really good with diagrams over all the important things like control mapping, a disassembly guide, hop-up guide, diagrams of how to insert your battery and how to properly clean your gun, so this time I approved of this manual. Next we get a stubby foregrip and a Hex Mag mid-capacity magazine, which is cool to see included. A little different to see a mid-cap magazine instead of the normal high-cap magazine you find in these budget gun boxes, but I'm cool with this as Lancer Tactical was so nice as to send me a few extra magazines for this review. But if you're a bit new to the game, then I'd recommend that maybe you pick up a high cap or two before you go to your first game with the Warlord. More on the magazine later. However, I am proud to say that you'll be getting 2 plastic rails for the mil-spec key mod rail on the Warlord, and you're getting a pair of plastic iron sights as well. Now we can get to the actual Warlord M4 so we can see if it's any good. So we'll start off by saying that this is OEM'd by Dytac, which means good things for the build quality, as the metal outer barrel, mil-spec key mod rail that's connected to the rest of the upper receiver are all very solid and free of any wobble. The upper is actually Cerakoted in black or tan as well, which is really cool to have on a sometimes sub $200 rifle. Of course, the bright orange birdcage flash hider is plastic, but like I said, it sits on a metal outer barrel with standard 14mm counterclockwise threads at the end under the flash hider. The barrel length can also be had in shorter or longer lengths, so if you're looking for a certain length, then you have choices. CNC aluminum will make up your key mod rail with spots for those plastic rail pieces you got from the box all around, but on top. The rail pieces are made from plastic, but they do their job while bringing the cost down. Just put one underneath so you can add on that foregrip that you got out of the box, and you should be fine. Oh, and the grip actually comes with a small storage unit for whatever you'd like to put inside of it. Moving on to the rail on top, it's made from the same CNC aluminum as the rest of the upper receiver. But do you remember those iron sights I picked out of the box? Yeah, well, I don't very much like them at all. They go on fine and they flip up with spring tension, but that's pretty much all they do right. You'll get no adjustments with these, the sight picture is pretty bad in my opinion, and the overall material that they're made out of is just god-awful. They're plastic. Really plastic, as if they were made from empty shampoo bottles. Even the backups molded onto the sights are bad, and are pretty much useless. Unless you have no cheekbones or you're missing a portion of your eye socket, then you won't be able to really use these. So I say replace these with your own iron sights or just go ahead and slap on any sight that you have lying around. Moving on to the back before we go over the controls on the receiver area, the stock on this model really reminds me of the XM8 or the Beretta ARX. The 6-position stock on this rifle is quite sturdy with only slight wobble when fully extended, and the texture on the end should help to keep it on your shoulder. I like that you get QD sling points and normal sling points attached to the receiver. Connecting a battery is also easy to do once you pull this portion of the stock away from the rest. You'll need a skinny battery however, so keep this in mind. Battery storage is slightly limited, but I was still able to put an 11.1 LiPo battery inside. On the stockless pistol model, the battery connections would have been inside the rail kit up front, and you'd use this switch to crack the rail open. But for this rifle, that's pretty much a tough task to do, even with tools, so I assume the rail won't open on the stocked rifles. I don't really have any other gripes about the stock besides for space, since with even a skinny battery it becomes a pain to adjust the stock at times. Good luck placing it back into the first position with a battery inside that's not a 7.4 LiPo. Touching on the pistol grip and the trigger area, I wanted to show off this nice texture seen here and the quick access to the motor. Just pinch the two tabs on each side and swing it open before you pull out this little plastic divider to gain access to your motor connections, which can really save you the trouble of breaking down more of the rifle to make some small adjustments or minor repairs to your connections, for example. The trigger guard is molded into the polymer receiver, as well as this groove on each side for your index finger to rest on when not engaging a target. A neat little detail there. All around the lower receiver you'll find Ditech Tactical and Lancer Tactical trademarks engraved, which Andrew partially covered up with one of my USAirsoft stickers. You'll also find that all the controls are ambidextrous on this rifle, including the selector switches, bolt releases, and magazine releases. All these controls besides the selector switches are enlarged, which I always love to see, and they're textured with pits like you'd find on a golf ball. All these controls work like they should, so again, I had no problems when handling this rifle. The charging handle is the only control without an ambient altercation, but when pulled back the metal bolt will lock in place, but only enough to get your finger inside to adjust the rotary hop up. This is a nice hop up that got me 150 foot shots accurately with 0.28 gram BBs on both semi and full auto, so there's another plus to mark down. And you'll be making these shots at low 390s and high 380s, so you won't be taking this rifle in the CQB unless you make a spring swap. The polymer 120 round hex magazines that will drop free from the magwell when you hit one of the releases are a neat touch with their textures all around and trades, and they seem to work fine. But it's still a bit strange to get a mid-cap with a budget-friendly gun. With that, I'd like to state that I'm really impressed with this addition to Lancer Tactical's product line. I didn't care much for the sights as I think they're, you know. But I really like how you get rails for the mil-spec key mod rail. I like the large controls, the included grip, the easy access motor grip, and the overall lightweightness of this well-constructed M4 that's only about 6 or 7 pounds. The rate of fire could be a little better, which would lend to upgrading to a better motor, and I like if the bolt could open a bit more, but I guess that's criticism to improve on. Or that's just me nitpicking. You do get options with the Warlord series, either it being just in color, and stocks, or in length, so I'd have to say for about $200, I'd recommend this to a beginner out there looking to get into the game. Just get yourself a few more mid-caps or a high-cap or two, and a thin LiPo battery to fit inside the stock, and you should be fine. But what do you think about the Lancer Tactical Warlord? I'd like to see your comments down below, and I'm sure that Lancer Tactical would as well. Shoutouts go to these past commenters and the notification squad for always showing up early to like these videos fast and for the encouragement they give me. Thank you to Lancer Tactical for sending me the Warlord to review and to ultimately give to my friend Andrew as his first airsoft gun, and thank you for watching. But until the next video drops from the city of San Antonio, this has been Scott Hollenbeck, and I'll be sure to see you all next time.
So you done recording or?
Let's go get something to eat later. Good trigger. But I still locked it up. For those who wonder why I use my middle finger to pull the trigger sometimes, I'm trying to show you guys just how fast I can pull the trigger. That's it. I don't normally actually play like this. Pretty good trigger. But I lock it up too easily.